So, a lot of companies are still spending over millions just to get their drug on the shelves of Indian pharmacies, and they're not able to get it right. The reason being the stringent laws of the Indian government and the mistakes that these companies are making. But luckily you have landed on this video in which you will not only know the entire drug approval process of India, the mistakes that 40% of the companies are making, that is delaying their drug approval process, and lastly, which is the most important thing, the things that you need to do after your drug is approved in the Indian pharmacy, because this might lead to the suspension or even the rejection of your drug. So let's get started. Welcome back to ChemExpert, India's leading global pharmaceutical database. Our mission is to revolutionize the life science industry with our cutting-edge database and products that will help your business grow seamlessly. And in this video, we'll discuss the 8 steps that are included in the new drug approval process. You can pause the video to have a look at each of the steps carefully, and let's get started. So the number 1 step is to identify your drug. So we classify the drugs into 3 main categories, which are number 1, new drug, which is basically a molecule that has never entered India. It is also called ND. Second is fixed dose combination, or FDC, a new combination of 2 or more drugs in a fixed ratio. And the third is investigational new drug, or IND, which is a molecule that is still under research or trials and is not yet approved to the market yet. According to this identification, you can choose the category of your drug and the rest process remains the same. By the way, one good news is that if your drug is already approved in countries such as USA, Europe or Japan, you can avail for a full or partial trial waiver under the Rule 122A. Well, we'll discuss later on how to avail this facility. First, let's start with the most important step, which is preparing your common technical documents. Alright, so let's start with preparing the CTD. CTD, or Common Technical Document, is basically a report that contains all the information about the drug. It has 5 modules in it and each module has its own significance and importance. But 2 of these modules are especially very important that can make your application shine. Having these modules in your CTD ensures that the structure is acceptable by CDSCO, but it does not mean that your process will go completely smoothly. But you are halfway there. But the next tip that I'm about to tell you is what can make or break your application and literally make it shine in front of the reviewers. And that tip is storytelling. See, the CTDs are often considered one structured report in which you just have to fill the data and nothing else. But there are actually 2 modules in which you can use your creative liberty and basically some storytelling to present a bigger picture to the reviewer. The 2 modules are Module 2 and Module 3. The mission, the vision. You can input stats in this module like how this drug can be revolutionizing, and this will make a lasting impression on the reviewer. Since CTD is the first thing the reviewer sees about your drug before even the clinical trials, this small tip goes a long way. Now that you have prepared the CTD, now is the time to apply for the drug approval process. Basically, you just need to go to Sugam portal, fill the form 44, submit the fees and get your reference number. Basically, it's that simple. Since you guys have been such a good listeners, I have an amazing gift for you. In just a few minutes, I'm about to show you an awesome tool on which you can easily track your competitors in the Indian and global market, including the suppliers they are buying from, the price they are buying from, and the recent warning letters they have received. And this is an important metric, as understanding the mistakes that others have made, you can strategize your marketing strategy and do not repeat the same. Now let's come back to the approval process. Now CDSCO will start evaluating your CTD. Here are the important things they usually look at. First is clinical data, safety margins and pharmacokinetics. These are the important parts, but it does not mean that this is the only thing CDSCO will look at. GMP compliance verification, manufacturing unit verification is also conducted. The applications are reviewed by Subject Expert Committee, or SEC. And the reason I asked you to focus more on CTD is because if the data there is not simple, clear and elaborative, additional data or clarifications could be asked. By the way, a dedicated video can be made on the expert tips on how to preparing CTD. Let us know in the comments if you are interested. Now after the CTD is approved, you need to conduct the clinical trials for your drug. Follow Schedule Y of the Drugs and Cosmetics Act. The trial protocols need to be approved by an ethics committee first. Now, as I've already told you that if your drug is already approved in countries such as USA, Europe or Japan, you can get a full clinical trial waiver. You just need to submit the reports of the clinical trials of that country. But in some cases such as cancer curing drugs, rare diseases or epidemic vaccines, clinical trials are mandatory and you cannot surpass them. Now is the time for site inspection. During site inspection, CDSCO usually look at GMP compliance, data integrity, batch consistency, equipment validation, and ethical trial conducts. But if you have a GMP certificate from USA, Europe, or UK, you might pass this step. But just like the previous time, CDSCO is the final decision maker. Now, once all the formalities are done and you meet all the CDSCO requirements, your drug license will be approved. Form 46 for manufacturing in India and Form 45 is the import license for foreign-made drugs. So a drug is now approved and you've got the license as well. But there is one more and most important step left, which if not done correctly may even get your license rejected. And I'm talking about post-marketing surveillance. Now this is the last and most important thing. After the approval, you need to monitor real-world adverse events, file periodic safety updates, maintain pharmacovigilance systems, and report any recalls, product variations, or safety warnings. Alright, so a drug has just entered the new market, and you definitely do not want to make the same mistakes your competitors did that might disrupt your supply chain. Things such as the reason why your competitors had warning letters or product recalls. Now, what if I told you there is one single platform where you can track all of this alongside your competitors, your own product, and various million-plus suppliers? That platform is ChemExpert. ChemExpert is the leading pharmaceutical market intelligence platform that is built for companies like you to provide the most reliable and accurate data. You just need to put in the name of your competitor, and our database will give you a detailed snapshot of their suppliers' contact information on the clinical trials and recent warning letters. We have a dedicated market research and analysis team that does all the tasks of sorting through Excels, documents, and various credible sources to gather the information you need. If this sounds interesting, then click on the link in the description and book a free consultation call with our experts. If you found this video useful, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, we bring in the latest pharma news daily on our short section. Make sure to check it out. Until then, use right data to make right decisions with ChemExpert.